Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not going to be available today, so I'm going to run through in detail your assignments for today. We're turning in a lot of things today. That has been on the calendar for weeks, so it shouldn't be a surprise. Everything is due at midnight, and it just so happens, I didn't plan it this way, but it just so happens that we just completed everything at about the same time. Probably because we started them about the same time. So today we're going to be working on rewrite number 7, the final rewrite. Then we're going to be copying and pasting that into the assignment, the first draft assignment, and submitting that. I'll go over that with you guys. You're going to be reading, I asked you to finish chapter 9 of Plymouth Plantation and the chapter 9 questions when I saw you on Tuesday. And so today I would like you to do chapter 10 and chapter 10 questions, and then we can discuss those when I see you next week, which will actually be Thursday. I will only see you one day next week. Administration has decided to give us Wednesday and Friday next week as tutorial days. So Monday being a holiday, then I will only see you on Thursday. So we'll talk about those questions then. We're going to be finishing up the last activity in our old notebook 3. I've been trying to find the time to finish it, but I will do it today. It'll just take a few minutes, and that's to take a look at compound sentences. That's what we're working on right now in our No Red Ink. And compound sentences, we're learning to write more complex sentences, more complex syntax and structures, more recursive writing. These kinds of skills really springboard you from high school writing into college writing. So I feel like compound sentences to me is like the gateway to more college level writing. Some of you guys are doing this with ease. Most of us are struggling with this. So that's why we're going to put a focus on it. So all throughout the year, that's really our focus with grammar, is to bring our writing up, our syntax up to a more college level writing. So we'll be doing that in notebook 3. Then we're going to be, I'll show you again, I said earlier, we're going to show you how to submit your first draft. We'll be submitting notebook 3 after we finish compound sentences. Everything else should be done. We worked on it over the last 3 weeks. And once we do rewrite 7 and write down our theme, we've finished the personal narrative notebook, so we can submit that as well. So as long as you have worked alongside us in class and gotten everything done on time, this should not be onerous. It should just be an easy thing, since everything should be completed. All right, here I am in my Unit 3 notebook. This is the last thing in the notebook that we have not done yet. And we just want to review the 2 ways to punctuate compound sentences. Like I said, compound sentences are really the gateway to the more complex syntax that we need to be using to get to the next step in our writing. The more information you can pack in a smaller package, meaning a sentence, the more advanced your writing will be. The idea is to get as many ideas as possible in the smallest amount of time. That's what makes writing more and more advanced. Compound sentences are a really good way to do it. So let's get going on this 2 ways by using a semicolon. So you can take 2 independent clauses, join them together using a semicolon. So you're going to want to look at these 2 examples and determine which of these is correct and which of these is incorrect. Which of these is an example of number 1, a compound sentence being punctuated by a semicolon. The second way that you can do this is by using a comma and a coordinating conjunction. And we have a mnemonic for coordinating conjunctions. That's fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Memorize these. Notice that the comma becomes before the conjunction. So now look here at the 2 examples. Which one of these has done this correctly? You need to determine that. When 2 independent clauses are combined with a comma, This is called a comma splice, and it is wrong. So you have to use a semicolon if you're not using a conjunction. So your next task is to read this short article. It's just 3 paragraphs. There are five mistakes here using commas and semicolons. So your job is to highlight. I think the easiest thing is just to find a mistake, create a comment rather, and then tell me what that mistake is and how you would fix it. Okay, so once this is done, you can submit this notebook. We are finished with it. You might want to scroll down, make sure you finished vocab 2. I assigned that last week. So if for some reason you missed that, then make sure you get your sentences done. We want to try to keep these words fresh in our mind because we're going to have a quiz on them pretty soon. Okay, so that is done. Submit that. Let's go on to the next thing. So our next activity is to do rewrite 7 in our personal narrative notebook. I asked you to complete 6 for the tutorial because this is something we've practiced twice already, and I feel like we really know how to do this. So I asked you to come up with some sensory details and then find places in your story to place those. You can see where mine are. Please highlight them so that I can find them. The very last thing is really the hardest thing to do, I think, and that is voice. We train you so much to use a formal academic tone in your writing, but sometimes that's not appropriate, and this is one of those times. Next year, you're going to be writing personal narratives for your personal statements, applying to college, and the one thing you want is that authentic voice that is going to help them get to know you through your writing. So when I looked at my story, I realized it was very formal and stiff right at the beginning. And that's where I tried to give some backstory. I used some terms like nerd and goody-goody that would be normal everyday words that I would use. And then I found places in my story that I could sound more like my authentic voice. Now, you may already be really good at this. You may already have lots and lots of examples of this. And if that's true, then just highlight those so that I can see. But if not, if you read your story and it sounds like an essay, then you may want to go through and find some opportunities to lighten the voice. You have to think of your purpose here and the mood that you're trying to create. Is your purpose to entertain? Then you need some humor. Is your purpose to, are you writing something that shows that you were frightened or sad, or, thinking about the mood and your purpose in writing your story should help you find the right voice. Because we use lots of different voices. We don't talk to our friends the same way we talk to our teachers or the same way we talk to our parents. So we have that capability to change our voice. And then think about what the theme of your story is. It's all going to be about taking risks. I decided that taking a risk, this is the story about taking a risk that made me discover I don't like to take risks. It is not my comfort zone. Once you have done that, you're going to copy this, and we're going to go over and paste it into the assignment. All right, here I am back on our desktop, and in the upcoming you can see personal narrative writing assignment first draft. We're going to click on that. Once you click on that, you're going to have a document like this. When you click on my document, it's just a basic template. You know what to do up here. Give me a nice heading. Think of a pithy title for your paper, and then you're going to copy and paste your paper here. Looks like I didn't really copy it, but you can do that. You're going to need to do a couple things. Take out any highlighting. Make it double spaced. It's actually set up to be double spaced. And then you may have some places in your paper where you need to create paragraphs. So read through it, get it as close to final presentation as possible. Next week, we're going to be doing some peer interviews. We're going to be reading each other's papers and interviewing each other, and hopefully getting some good feedback for any revisions that we might want to make. Now that you have submitted your writing assignment, you can go through, make sure everything's complete in your personal narrative notebook, and you may submit that. And if you've kept up with that during class as we worked through it, that should be a really simple task. Just submit that. If not, you have until midnight tonight to finish any incomplete sections, and then make sure you submit it. All right, your last task today is to read chapter 10. If in the textbook, it's pages 9 through 13. In the document that I've put in the Unit 4 notebook, it's just 4 pages. 3, 4, and then we'll be ready for chapter 11. So you're going to read these 4 pages here, and then answer the questions in the Unit 4 notebook. All right, here I am in the Unit 4 notebook. We just have 3 questions here for chapter 10. And like I said, we'll go over these next Thursday. I was going to go over them with you today for chapter 11, or rather chapter 9. But we'll go over them all on Thursday when I see you. So how does Bradford's allusion to Eschol? You might have to look this up. You might have to look up Eschol to see what it means. In the textbook, it does give you a little bit of a background on it. I didn't include that in the document. This idea of allusion, of using other literary works in your own writing, there's a purpose for that. There's a reason that Bradford's doing that. We want to try to figure out what that reason is. How do Puritans' religious beliefs differ from Native Americans? We should have a little background on that because we read some of their mythology. How does Bradford view the Puritans' theft of the Native American food storage? So think about that. How should someone think about that, and how does he think about that would be an interesting question. All right, so here we are back on the desktop. So hopefully that gives you good detail on what you need to do today. I will be available for text if you get confused or you need some help. But I think I've laid out everything here. So we're going to do the narrative rewrite, the questions, chapter 10 reading, finish the notebook and submit it, finish the first draft and submit it, and submit your personal narrative notebook. Yep, I've covered it all. So that's what we're doing today, and I will see you guys next Thursday. My goodness. But we'll be doing some stuff for the tutorial on Wednesday. Have a good weekend, guys.